Hey guys, what's up? Transition Coach 50 here again. Today we're here to talk about part one for dating apps. We're going to go over kind of most popular dating apps, some of the pros, some of the cons, some of the do's and don'ts. If that sounds exciting to you, stay tuned. Hey guys, Transition Coach 50 here. Today we're here to go over lesson one of dating apps. Kind of do's and don'ts, what's out there. Let's get started. First, let's talk about what is a dating app, right? So dating apps are sites that are set up online that have a number of features such as GPS, location finding, filtering availability, that allow you to match with potential women online who have put in criteria that would include you. What I mean by that is, if you look to go to a dating app, you can give it criteria such as, I only want to meet women within these age ranges, this far from my home location that I put in there, and of a few different various criteria, and the application will suggest potential candidates that you may wish to align with. Women will do something similarly on their end, and if you fit within that criteria, you'll show up as a potential to them. Okay? Let's talk about some of the most popular dating apps that are out there. Tinder. So what I've got here is I've got them stack ranked. This is according to 2019 statistics by popularity, meaning how much enrollment do they have. So Tinder in 2019 had 7.86 million enrolled users. Okay, you can read the numbers from here. I won't read them to you. You can see Tinder, Bumble, Plenty of Fish, Match, Grindr, Hinge. That may have moved a little bit in 2020. Things like Hinge are becoming a little more popular. Some new dating sites are becoming a little more popular. That's okay. We're not going to get too much in lesson one to exactly what's the difference between Bumble and Tinder and that type of thing. I'll be honest with you, it doesn't make that big of a difference. They all have a lot of similarities to it, which is you're going to put a picture out there, which is going to be 90% of whether you get interest or not. You're going to say some words that, in my opinion, can only hurt you. They don't help you that much. And then get into what would make somebody wish to associate with you or like you, if you will. All of them are fairly similar in that they have a way you'll be suggested potential suitors that you will look at, and you can either choose to include them and folks you'll continue to interact with or like them, or dislike or discard them in some way, or some way of saying, no, remove them from my pool of folks that you're showing to me. Okay? Then from there, you're going to build some level of interaction with them, eventually meet, chat, that type of thing. I think they're all very similar as it relates to that, and you're not going to need a ton of time from me on how to manage between you're in Bumble or Match. I think you'll figure that out very intuitively. If you have questions, you can put some comments. I'm sure our community will look to help you below. But for the most part, I think you'll find them fairly intuitive in how you use them. There are differences certainly in terms of price points for getting in. Maybe some are more popular with different age groups or things. Maybe some of them are more aligned with meeting goals. For example, an eHarmony or Match may be more aligned if your goals are to meet your next wife, whereas a place like Bumble or Tinder may be more aligned with if you want to date multiple folks. Those are your goals. Those are really up to you. Our goal here at Transition Coach 50 is to equip you with that information, help you reach your goals, help you be the best you possible. Okay? let's talk about a few more things with dating apps. Why would you use a dating app? I think the first thing is, do I want to use a dating app? And what I'd say is, you don't necessarily need to or shouldn't. It depends on what your goals are and understanding the pros and cons of both. At a high level, I'd say if you're somebody that meets people easily, if you're able to go to the grocery store and meet folks and you think you could align with women there and maybe friends, or you're just out and about through life, whether that's the gym, the restaurant, whatever it is, if you're able to meet people easily and you feel that you can achieve your goals naturally on your own, great. You'll hear me say a lot, don't lie to yourself. Lie to me, lie to others, try never to lie to yourself, okay, folks? So that is a number one thing that I think about is what's the likelihood? And I wouldn't put yourself in a situation to maybe say, well, I've never naturally met women in my life and I've never been that social person, but I'm going to be now and I don't need dating apps. Let's not lie to ourselves, okay? You're probably not going to change that overnight. Again, I'm not saying you have to. I'm just saying be honest with yourself about the situation, about what's the likelihood you're going to meet many new women that you could potentially date, especially in our current COVID environment. Hopefully that's not here forever, but it is now. And so let's take that into consideration as we talk, okay, guys? So let's talk about some of the pros. Why would you want to be on a dating application, okay? One, it allows you, as I've said, to put in GPS locations, that type of thing. If you're on social media and you're just throwing out this global profile, you may connect with people in different countries, different continents, who knows, all over. But in dating applications, you can set up some very specific criteria. Let's just say, we'll call it a net, if you will. You're casting this net out there of folks you'd like to interact with or the ability to interact with. And that'll be based on criteria that you're able to specify. I'm only interested in meeting or interacting with women that live within 20 miles of me, that are between this age group and that age group. Those kinds of criteria you can set up, so it's a very targeted search. I'm only in theory interacting with those folks, okay? Large exposure. You're going to be able to sit on a dating application for 20 minutes, and as you start to understand them, you could literally probably choose between 100 different women. I would say it's probably impossible in any physical, social aspect to have that much exposure, which again, there's pros and cons to everything. That could be a potential pro, is just what I'll call large exposure, right? You can get many dates. I remember when I was first single and I didn't want to get on dating applications at all and had never tried them, I would talk to my friends and say, I can meet women on my own, that type of thing. And I remember a friend saying to me, all right, you go spend your night at the bar. Let me know how much money you spend, how many phone numbers or people you met, and how you feel the next day. You know what? He was right. Because the answer was not much in one regard. Whereas on a dating application that I maybe pay $10, $20 a month to, I could have sat in my living room, and the reality is I probably could have met 100 different women and had 10 different dates if that were my goal. I'd say pros and cons to that. Having 10 different dates can be a nightmare within itself. But we'll talk about that in cons in a minute, okay? So some of the pros that we've talked about. Now I'm talking about some of the cons. One, catfish. There are a ton of catfish on dating applications. And catfish, all that we mean there is somebody pretending to be someone they are not. Okay? So you're going to see a lot of maybe what may be a very beautiful picture that aligns with the filtered goals you've put up and the folks you'd like to meet or interact with. And you're going to get a picture of somebody that represents themselves to be aligned with that. However, it's not that person. Okay, and they're going to say nice things to you. These catfish are going to be the most complimentary, the most easy to get a date with. When somebody's like that, be aware. Again, a quick way to determine if someone's real or not, try to get to a video phone call as quickly as you can. You could maybe even just say, hey, just as a policy, I've run into a ton of catfish. I'd love to just have a quick 5-minute 30-second video call with you before we spend any more time, just not to waste either of our time so we both feel good. If somebody's offended by that, they very well may be a catfish. Again, I wouldn't offer that too early. You've got to understand where that familiarity and that type of message may be well received. Okay? So that's a con there. It's a life distraction. If you were going to look to go date more organically, if you will, as we talked about meeting people at the grocery store, the gym, what have you, you in your mind will only be kind of open to that as you're in those situations that you get to choose. When you've got, say, an app on your phone for Tinder, human nature gets us more like, let's just say, in inappropriate times. We're at dinner with our children, we're in a business meeting, and next thing you know, we're glancing, or it's going off in our pocket all day, and it can be what I'd call a life distraction. And that's why I think many people end up saying, oh, I hate a dating app, or I need to move away from it. It's just become a negative in their life. And so I just say, let's try to arm each other with the reality that it could be a life distraction, and be aware of that as we move through and interact, and try to avoid that from happening. I put next money, which is interesting because in some regards you could use dating applications inexpensively, especially some are free out there, like Plenty of Fish that's been very popular. Even Tinder has a free option, but you'll find out as you get into it, well, you can go in there and look, but if you want to actually be able to speak to someone, you got to be a member, which is going to cost you $20 a month at minimum. And then they'll try to sell you boost packages to put you to the front of the line and that type of thing. If you're not careful, you could spend hundreds of dollars a month on any of these sites or all of these sites, so they can be very expensive. What I'd say is play with it a little bit, dip your toes maybe in a little bit of the different sites, see what works for you and doesn't work for you. Keep your budget planned and what aligns with your goals and what you can afford, and see what's working for you, and do more of what you're receiving, the type of feedback you like, and less of what you don't like. As you know, here at Transition Coach 50, our community and our brotherhood is critical to our success and the success of all of our team members. If you've had interaction with some of these sites, I'd love to know in a comment below, what's the site you've had the best luck with? I know the community would love to hear that from you. Okay? We hope you've enjoyed this content. If you like this video, please hit the like button below, comment below, subscribe to our channel, and come back soon for more great content.